also need to have a change of mindset as far as the way we tend to undertake the preparations for the elections in itself. Because we know the EC is currently registering people. They now are following what they call the reforms, so to speak. But the concerns have been that they're not being implemented according to what the tenets of the law are. Because even though you can just walk into designated EC offices and go register once you're past the age of 18 or have attained the age of 18, the political parties have expressed concerns, and they are meeting through the Inter-Party Advisory Committee from today. We're hoping that that meeting will come off. And following that, we've had the Member of Parliament for Menchia South, Dr. Matthew Opoku-Prempeh, saying the ongoing registration exercise by the Electoral Commission is very much illegal, and the concerns have been raised by other political state actors as well. Let me start with you.
Well, in the first place, I'm very disappointed in the EC. Very disappointed. And if this is how they are going to run the EC, they're going to put all of us in trouble.
Why?
Why? Because some of us, we always think that we should support the EC so that we're able to carry out their mission successfully, so that we all live in peace. And personally, I've been very much involved in how they even do their things. For free. But if the Constitution under Article 51 says that you should bring in regulations that would allow you to manage how you register and then conduct elections, and you have the regulations in place, and you decide not to follow the regulations, then obviously you want to do your own thing. Now, there are two aspects of registration: annual registration under Regulation 29, or continuous registration under Regulation 9. Once you decide to start any registration, you should follow the rules. 14 days notice to the general public. You have to even gazette it. You have to designate where these registrations will take place. Ideally, if you run through the whole regulation, ideally they expect that the registration should be on electoral area basis. So if for any reason you even want to do it on district basis, you should explain why. Because take even my constituency, for example. It was one huge constituency which was divided into two. As we speak, Kwapem South District, Kwapem South constituency, we don't have an EC office. As we speak.
So why would they register?
Ask them. Because when they did the registration last year, because it was on electoral area basis, they brought officers to various electoral areas. They went to register. Now you're saying that people should walk to your office to go and register when we don't even have an office. That's number one. Number two, apart from the notice, the rules say that you should even allow such registration to be observed, to be monitored by any person who's interested, and by political parties. You should accredit them for them to go and do this. It's not been done. If you go through the regulations, everything that the EC is required to do, the EC has flouted it. And it becomes very embarrassing. You speak to them, most of them don't seem to even know what is going on. So who gives us instructions, and what advice do they take? Right? The fact that the Ghanaians appear to have forgiven them when they made us lose so much during this assembly elections doesn't mean things can go on this way. The danger is that if you let even few of us who still think that we should give EC the benefit of the doubt, they should have the goodwill.
You're only few? The few of you who want the autonomy of the EC are few?
No, I'm saying that a lot of people have been expressing disquiet about the way they run their things. I'm saying that some of us think that we should still support them for them to be able to carry out their mission very well. But if they keep on going on like this, how are you going to defend them? I mean, the law is clear, CI 72. It's clear on how you should conduct.
Mr. Champo, the point is that the political parties are key stakeholders, and you need to be consulted on because once you don't have the buy-in of the stakeholders, whatever action that you want to undertake won't work. Now, if again they flout regulations, or you feel that they are not done according to what the law states, that even becomes more worrying.
Well, that is so, but see, I think in this case the EC should consult with the political parties. You have an intra-party advisory committee that basically helps the EC in the performance of its functions, even though it is not constitutionally based. It is good to consult with them because the political parties are the stakeholders in the whole electoral system. And it is better to consult with them. Finally, I think if political parties feel the EC is doing something that is unconstitutional, test it in the law courts. Take it to court and let the court adjudicate. After all, somebody took the issue of the district assemblies to court, and it was adjudicated that the EC was wrong and the whole program has to be restarted.
The subject or even the chairman of the Electoral Commission.
So we need to test the laws, one, and we need to allow the EC to consult with the political parties. I mean, that brings to the fore a coherent system that is being operated so that everybody is in sync with what is going on. This situation where they do their own thing and leave the parties behind sometimes is not the best.
Some of the infractions are so blatant that you don't even need to test the law. The law is so clear. Then we call you and you tell us that, oh, we are now planning to call a meeting by Friday. Meanwhile, you first started the exercise.
Now, we know Richard Sky, a broker journalist, has also taken the has filed a petition before the court for an interpretation of
the Constitution
of the Constitution, of course,
as to how
the appointment of the Electoral Commission should be done. And we know that, according to what the Constitution says, on the advice of the Council of State, the President should do that.
Well, it's good for our democracy because, in the first place, we seem to be at cross purposes as to how the chairman or other members of the commission should be appointed, because this one is not in consultation, it's on the advice. And then even the Constitution says that within 30 days of the request by the President, the advice should be given. As to whether, if they give the advice, the President can even ignore the advice. All these things are gray areas. So if the Supreme Court will bring out how they understand the provisions of the Constitution, we are all obliged to abide by it. So it's a matter of interpretation. As Supreme Court, highest court of the land, tell us how this should be carried out. Because just as I said here, that this will not be the first and last when it comes to appointing officials on the advice of the Council of State. And once the Supreme Court gives us the guidelines, then we are all the same, or added them, as we say, so that an average person will know that when it comes to vacancy in this particular institution, this is what the court has said we should do too.
Mr. Champo, we are here because comments leading to speculations and speculating names, etc., and trying to force people down the throat on the President. That's why we're here.
I've sat here in this very studio.
It's a media speculation.
Yes, of course.
I've sat in this very studio and
I think we discussed about 3-4 weeks
ago. And I said, look, what we are doing is needless. Is this the first time we are appointing an electoral commissioner in this country? Even under this present democratic dispensation.
Well, the times have changed, haven't they?
1992. The first electoral commissioner was Justice Joseph Ofori-Boateng. When he left, Justice Afarijan was appointed. What was the process? How come this very particular one has generated so much interest? And why are we trying to always stampede the President? Look, it's good for anybody to go.
Now we have a vibrant media. The political parties are more active.
Agreed.
Not like in 1992 and 1993. You can say that.
I would agree.
The environment has changed.
150%. But the Constitution remains the fundamental document of the land, and the Constitution professes how it should be done. Let that system begin, and let us produce an electoral commissioner. This issue of you saying this and the speculations is not helping the process, because at the end of the day, you are just putting people on edge and on tenterhooks for no reason. This will be done. There's a process that has been prescribed by the Constitution. Let that happen, and let's get an electoral commission who will run the system.
So we're waiting on the courts, I believe.
Yes, it's a very positive thing, because we've had district assembly elections all this time. But it took somebody to go to Supreme Court, for the Supreme Court to say that, no, you need regulations when it comes to district assembly elections. But we've had district assembly elections since 88, before even the Constitution came in. Then when the Constitution came in, we're still doing it without any regulations. But somebody was bold enough.
Okay, so we need to test the law. Yes. All right, so we have had in the studio Kobe Champong, the Chief Executive for the Youth Employment Agency. Thanks for joining me. And Member of Parliament for Ikapim South, Obi Amwa, Osei Bunso Amwa, also has been my other guest. Thanks for joining me,
I see that you enjoyed the year.
And that'll be it for the show. Please join us same time tomorrow. Till then, please do enjoy your working day. Bye.